that's it. On average, you'd be expected to get, I mean, anywhere upwards of 25.
Yeah,
you know,
25 was way back then.
Yeah,
so
but you know, probably if you are an associate nurse with a diploma, at least just, you know, maybe 25, 30, but it's definitely going to go high. And happy to come your way again today after our video on how to migrate to the United States as a nurse. We've had so many questions, several questions, that we decided to put together this video to provide a step-by-step guide on the processes involved in becoming a nurse in the United States as a foreign trained nurse. And so in today's video, we're going to tell you about all the tips and tricks, the hacks, whatever you want to call it. Stay tuned. Welcome back. As I said, today I've got the privilege of interviewing my lovely wife that has seen it all and gone through, you know, all the hoops to, you know, become a nurse that is trained from Ghana, that is working professionally in the United States. So I'll just give her the opportunity to share with us what she does and how it all started.
My name is Rita. I'm a registered nurse here in the US. I got my initial license in the year 2014 and started working as a bedside nurse in an academic medical center in Nashville, Tennessee. I started working in May 2014 all the way through July 2015. So that was about a year and a few months I worked as a bedside nurse. I no longer do bedside nursing. Currently, I work as a research nurse practitioner, but prior to becoming a research nurse practitioner, I worked as a research nurse. I will give you more details into all of what I do now in another video.
All right, yeah, that seems to be like a very interesting field. And one of the questions that we had was, what about midwives? What about public health nurses? What about community health nurses? Can you tell us a little bit about how the nursing education system works here in the US versus in Ghana or other parts of the world?
Sure. So here in the US, the nursing program is mostly what we call the general nursing program.
Right.
They don't specialize right from the beginning as some other people do in their countries. Like, I know they have courses like midwifery where you go in straight into midwifery. They have people focusing solely into mental health or psychiatric nursing right from the beginning. Here in the US, everything is combined as a general nursing program. So you do that, and afterwards you can go specialize through your training or through your work. You can go back to school and further your education to become specialized in one area. Okay,
so just to put it right, regardless of the background that you're having, so long as you've had that general nursing education, you stand a chance of working in the United States as a registered nurse.
Yeah.
All right.
So the registered nursing program here in the US is equivalent to a general nursing program, for instance, in Ghana.
Okay.
So if you did a general nursing program anywhere in the world, you do stand a chance of being able to practice here in the US. And even so, for people who specialize, there is a path, though it may not be so easy. Like the general nursing students, there is still a path to becoming able to be registered in the US.
Okay, that's very interesting to know. And you know, one of groups or categories were the midwives. So we have that information later on in this video. We'll encourage you to stay tuned and watch to the end to find out how, if you specialize in midwifery, how you can gain a path to become a registered nurse here in the US. Okay. So as we mentioned, we are very familiar with, you know, the Ghanaian system or nurses that are foreign trained from Ghana, and so we're going to use that as a case study in this video to walk you through the step-by-step processes. And so I would like my wife to talk to us about, you know, where does it all begin? People are asking, can they do it by themselves? Do they need to go through a recruitment agency? Can you tell us a little bit more about, you know, how that works? And
yeah, definitely. So for my case, I came in with a green card, so I didn't have to go through anybody to be able to come to the US. I had permanent resident card, so I came in, and the process is a little different with that path. But for those who are currently living outside of the US, who are nurses and wanting to come to the US to work, not because they already have a visa to come to the US, but they are looking to get a job so they can come to the US and work, right? I think that's what the question is about. So for those kind of people, we have two options. We have the option where you can go through a recruitment agency. So yes, just like the UK, I know there are agencies that help nurses move from Ghana, Nigeria, and all those places to come work come work in the UK. Same way we have that process in the US, though it's not that common, let me put it that way. There are agencies that are doing, they are just not as many as there is in the UK. So when you go through the recruitment agency, what happens is that they have the direct connections with the hospitals or the nursing homes or whichever facility that is needing the nurses. They have connections with them, so you go through them. They do everything for you. They help you do your transcript evaluation, register you with the State Board of Nursing, assist you with writing the NCLEX, IELTS if needed by whichever states that they're registering you with. So they take you through the process and then get you the job. They go to the extent of even paying for your air ticket. And then once you come here, based on the job that they get for you, they have a commission in it, or your pay goes through them, so they negotiate with you how much they are going to pay you. So from that, they are also able to make their money. So that is going through the recruitment agency. That process definitely can take long. It's not a quick process, just because there's just so many steps they have to go through. Most times they like nurses who have experience, but of course they do accept nurses who just graduated and do not have experience. They would give you all the needed support, and when you get here, they train you before letting you start working in the hospital.
And I mean, you mentioned two options. So what is the other option that people can take? The other option is you do it yourself. It's called the direct hire. So if you can go online and look for nursing jobs with hospitals or nursing homes, wherever, you can go find a job yourself, right? By that, you do everything by yourself. So you are going to go through the transcript evaluation yourself, going through the process of preparing for the NCLEX, registering with the state board. So you are definitely doing everything by yourself without any support from anybody, right? And of course, that may be very challenging, because you do not know the ups and downs of this thing, unless you have somebody who is helping you, who is not an agency, walking you through
because they are in the US, they know you, you know them, they can support you. But other than that, I would say that process can be very challenging. It can take 2, 3, 4 years. Because finding a job in the US as a nurse is not also that easy if you're outside of the US. So going through the agency may afford you a quicker way of getting the job and getting to the US.
So even though it's not easy, it is not impossible. And we encourage you to give yourself, anywhere between 9 months to 24 months, or even beyond 24 months, because it's a whole process. And as I said, we're using the Ghanaian foreign trained nurse as a case study in this video. And from what Rita is saying, it looks like there are basically 3 processes or 3 steps, and so we're going to unpack them in this video. The first step is the credentialing process. The second step is the licensing process itself, and then the last process is getting a job or accepting a job offer. So we're going to start off by unpacking the credentialing process.
So to begin with the credentialing process, you want to make sure you have all documents ready, and I'll go through this document just in a bit. You want to make sure you have all that ready, so that once you create the account and fill in everything that is needed, that process can go quickly for you. So for that, there are 3 credentialing bodies that can do transcript evaluation for you. Just know that some states do not take the credential evaluation from some of these bodies. So the most popular one is the CGFNS, which we spoke about in our previous video. If you haven't watched that, we'll put the link in the description box, and you can watch that video. So CGFNS is the popular one that all states do accept. So I would say, if you're wanting to do that, I would encourage you to go through CGFNS. The other service is the ERES. So ERES is the other certifying body that you can go through. Some states do accept they accept that evaluation. The other one is Joseph Sony and Associates. So that is the third certifying agency that you can go through. So you can read about all these three, see what they are requiring from you, and decide on which one you would go with. But make sure that the state that you want to register with does accept the transcript evaluation from this certifying body. Okay.
So I mean, just to unpack it and make it very simple for people that are confused, because we had that question coming over and over, that what is the first step? So what does the credentialing do? What does it really entail? Why should that even be the very first step in the process?
So that is very important, because like I said in that previous video, they want to be able to tell you whether the education that you had in your home country is equivalent to the US standards. Basically that's all that it is. So if they evaluate your transcript and give you the feedback that, based on the courses you took during your period in school, you are missing this course, or you don't have enough credit hours to show that you did this particular topic, they may need you to go back and catch up on that. So they do a strict course by course first semester, first semester of the first year, second, each one of them, how many credit hours each course was, and then compare it to what they do here in the US. So it may come back that you may be short of some credit hours or some courses, and so you may need to go back and get that done. But other than that, I would say for most people who did their nursing training in Ghana, be it diploma or bachelor's, it does meet the US standard.
So as we said, this case study is the Ghana foreign trade nurse case study, but it is definitely applicable to every other country, but maybe your licensing body or things like that might be slightly different. So as Rita said, that is the first step. You need to make sure that your education is evaluated and assessed by this evaluation body, the most popular one being the CGFNS. And in a previous video, which you're going to link in the description box, Rita did a lot of good or justice to that by talking about needing your transcript, going through the NMSC, right, and then all this. So maybe if you can just touch a little bit on that.
So you would need your transcript, and like I said, your transcript will not be taken from you. They will need it to come directly from the school, the school that you attended. So after filling in your application online, they have this form. During my time, you needed to print out that form and then send it back home to, and I was in the US already, but if you're still in your home country, all you need to do is to print that form, take it to the school that you attended, and then get them to fill that out. You don't fill that form out. They fill it out, they attach a copy of your transcript, put it in an envelope, seal it, put the address of CGFNS on it, stamp the seal, so that if it's broken, if it's open, they can see it. So the school will stamp it. So you want to make sure that whoever you are giving this instruction to at the school understands what to do, because if they go through all the hassle of doing all that and then it gets to CGFNS and they're saying, this is not good, something happened to it, then it's like you have to start the process all over. So you want to make sure you're on top of it, make sure they're doing it right, filling in the form appropriately, attaching the transcript, sealing it, stamping it, and then mailing it directly to CGFNS. So they need that. That's all they need from the university or the nursing college that you attended.
And you have to know that unlike Ghana, where if you are doing a process you have to call someone, the CGFNS, everything is done online, and the system will show you where it is, how it's being tracked, and where it's gotten to, and all that stuff. So make sure at least someone back in your university, college, or nursing training school, whatever it is, someone that can help you facilitate that, because if you take it there and no one is responding to it, then obviously it's going to take a longer period,
because then you are having to travel back and forth based on where you live. You have to keep going back and forth, doing a lot of calls to make sure it is done. And I would say for nurses who are already licensed in their home country, they would also need another form to be sent to the licensing body in your country, and they also fill a form and then attach a copy of your license and send it to the CGFNS. For those who also are bonded, by Ministry of Health, because let's say especially for the diploma nurses, I know most of them are bonded, and if you haven't fulfilled the term of the bond, then you have issues with the Ministry of Health. So you may want to make sure that you have already,
so you get clearance from you get clearance from
your Ministry of Health if you were bonded. So they would need you to fill that form to show that you have no time to still serve with them.
So obviously, you know, the whole process we said like 9 to 24 months, and it involves cost, and we're going to share an overview of how much it's going to cost at the end of this video. So like we said, stay tuned and keep watching till the end. We hope you're enjoying this video. We would encourage you to consider subscribing, because the more we have people subscribing, people commenting, we are interactive. That is how this video is going to be pushed to more people. And so if this video has been a blessing to you, if you are learning so much from this video, we encourage you to take a moment and hit the subscribe button below, so that you'll be the first to be notified whenever our content comes out. We are on this channel, we are all about attaining financial freedom, living the American dream, and also for personal growth. And so if any of these things interest you, go ahead and subscribe and smash that notification bell, so that you'll be the first to be notified whenever a video comes out. Once the credentialing process is over, the next step is the licensing process. So what does this licensing process involve? Because I'm already licensed, you know, if I'm a foreign trainer, I'm already licensed in my home country. Why do I still need to get licensed?
Of course, I mean, you need a license in every country where you practice. So it doesn't matter if you're already licensed in your home country. You can just come to the US and start working because you have a Ghanaian license. No, it's not accepted. And even for the US, it's even worse, because even though the US is one, it's 50 states, and each state operates differently. So like the UK is UK and everything is standard across, but here it's 50 states. If you choose to if you choose to work in 5 states, or if you choose to move from one state to the other, you have to get a license for each state.
But so are you trying to say that, I mean, even though someone might get license in, say, for example, Texas, if they move to Tennessee or they move to Florida, they need to be licensed in that state as well? They cannot, even though it's United States. So so you would need to still get a license. And one way you can skip that is here in the US, some states are called compact states when it comes to nursing license. So they allow you to use a license from one state to work in another, but that state has to be part of the compact state. And not all states are part of the compact state. So they are trying to get to the point where all 50 states are compact states, but they are not there yet. Most of the states are now compact. So if you have a license from Tennessee and you moved to Atlanta, you can use that license to work, but somewhere along the line they will still need you to transfer your license to Atlanta, because if you call Atlanta your home state, then they want you to have the license from them. But if it shows that, oh, I still live in Tennessee, but I'm just here in Atlanta to work, then so there's just a lot which we don't have to talk about in this video. Now that the person has chosen, you know, a state that, okay, I want to get licensed, what actually goes into that licensing process? Who is in charge of it? How do they apply?
Okay, so once the CGFNS does the evaluation and tell you that your foreign country nursing education matches the US standards, then you're good. Hooray, you can move on to the next step. But if they tell you it doesn't, then of course you have to catch up. Just know that. So assuming everything has gone on well, your nursing education is comparable to the US standards, you want to register with the state. So in filling your CGFNS application, it asks you which state you are wanting to register with, but you can change this after the fact. So it tells you, so you have to put that state in there, and once they tell you you have equivalent nursing education as the US, then you go to the State Board of Nursing's website. So every state has their own Board of Nursing website. So you go there, create an account as well, and also apply. So that is another step of applying. So you go in, apply, and they would also request a copy of the transcript evaluation from CGFNS.
FNS, yeah.
They will not take it from you.
Or the evaluation body, whether it's
whichever
ERES or the Joseph Senior and Associate.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they would need a copy of the evaluation report to be sent directly to them. So you would tell CGFNS to mail a copy of that evaluation report to that particular state that you're trying to register with. So once they receive that and they review it and your application as well, they will send you an email to tell you that you are approved to test. That is the authorization to test.
Okay.
It's called the ATT in short. So once you get this, then you can move on to the next step. So,
okay, yeah. But I know some states also require IELTS. So what's going to be your advice? Should everyone write IELTS, or you just have to wait till you start applying and then
I would say if you are still in your home country and looking forward to a future where you come to the US and work as an RN, this is the best time to take the IELTS. Okay. And this is an English test that is not only peculiar to the US, the UK even, I know most nurses have to take that exam. So you can go ahead, study for that exam, get a good score, and I know it's valid for about 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Yes. So do it now, save yourself all the hassle of last minute stuff, and get yourself one step already ahead of the process.
Yeah. I know that with the IELTS, they require an overall score of 6.5 and a score of 7 in the speaking section. So with IELTS, they have like different section: reading, speaking, comprehension, and all that. But you need to get an overall score of 6.5, and with the speaking, you have to get a score of 7.
And know that you may not get these scores on your first try, so this is a good time to start it. Hopefully you get a good score on your first try, but if not, you can still take it again and do even better. Okay, all right, that's good. So you mentioned authorization to test and the next step. So once you go through the state of board of nursing, your IELTS, everything is in place, what are you giving that authorization to test for? You are given authorization to, of course, take the nclex RN exam. nclex RN exam, and that is the official exam that you have to take and pass and then get your license. So I would say throughout this process of doing the CGFNS, writing your IELTS, applying to the state, it's also a good time to start studying or preparing for the nclex RN exam. You also don't want to wait till the end and get everything approved and get the ATT before you start studying, because then that will take you an extra time. So if you can use your time wisely by starting to study just when you start doing the CGFNS process, little by little, by the time you get your authorization to test, you are almost there where you feel confident that you can take the nclex RN exam. But that is the final step. So if I get you right, you are trying to say to everyone watching us today that even before you start any process, once you have that dream, that passion of moving to the US as a foreign trade nurse and becoming licensed, then you need to start preparing yourself for IELTS, you need to start preparing yourself for NCLEX, and don't wait for your evaluation to be accepted, moving to the state board of nurses, because that's going to delay them. So whilst you are working on it, just keep studying for the NCLEX and all that. Get the materials,
and the resources and all that. If you have the classes,
and start looking through them. Because it takes time to get comfortable with their style of questions. So in the beginning, it may be more relaxed for you, where you're just going through it, seeing how things are going, and then as you get more confident, you make your study very intensive. So if you have not watched our video on the NCLEX review and how to pass your NCLEX on one step, we would encourage you to go and look for that video and watch it. We'll put that link in the description box below. And my wife sat for it one time and passed with the 75 questions. There are a lot of questions, but you need to have 75, it's called like past 75. 75 is the least amount of questions to answer
to pass. So the least amount of questions. So if you have not watched that video, we encourage you to go and watch it. So at this step, the person have gone through the evaluation, CGFNS, the licensing, IELTS, State Board of Nursing, and all that. So the midwives, I know a lot of people are concerned, especially those that are in Ghana. Is there any state that leans more towards midwives when it comes to they being licensed?
So most of the states in the US focus more on the general nursing. But of course, Florida is one of the very few states that I am aware of that do accept midwives and get them registered without having any issues. Without having to take any extra courses and stuff like that. So if you're a midwife and looking to come to the US to work, I would say Florida is by far the #1 state that you should look into registering with. But once you get that registration done and get your license, like I said, you can always get back into general nursing. It may just mean that you have to do a course or two, or do a quick fast track nursing program that is maybe like a year long, and then catch up on those courses that the midwives did not do in their midwifery program.
Okay, so if you're a midwife, the secret is out of the bag now. Florida is the state for you. We know people that have gone through it. They did midwifery back in Ghana, and they were able to get through Florida, and now they are enjoying big money in Florida because they pay a lot when it comes to Florida. So look out for Florida and target Florida if you are a midwife. So at this point, they've gone through, they say, the last step, getting accepted into a job. How does it look like? How much people wondering how much does it pay? Is it good money?
So once, and like we said from the beginning of this video, this is solely for people who are still back home and looking to get into the US.
In their home country. So Ghana, Nigeria, Asia, Kenya, South Africa, from Europe.
So you are still then trying to get into the US. I would say the nursing opportunities here are vast. Every place is looking for nurses. Because there's just demand, and the supply is really not meeting the demand. So they really need nurses. But if you are still in your foreign country trying to get in, it's not that easy. Like I said from the beginning, your option is to go through your best option is to go through the recruitment agency, and they would be able to help you get a job quicker. I don't know how much those recruitment agencies are offering nurses, but I'll say the pay in the US for nurses is generally great. So what is the least amount someone can? It depends on the state. Each state is different too. Some states pay as much as $40 an hour for
a graduate. A BSN.
$40 an hour. Some states are as low as $32 an hour. Some states even go as high as $50 if you live in California and stuff like that.
An hour.
Because the cost of living in those states are pretty high, so they need to pay you.
Is it the same as someone with an associate degree, which is equivalent to a diploma?
Definitely the pay would be different. It wouldn't be the same as somebody with a bachelor's degree, but like I said, it's still great money. Compared to back home, of course.
Home country.
Whether diploma or bachelor's, you will still come in with a great pay.
So that's it. On average, you'd be expected to get anywhere upwards of 25.
25 was way back then.
But probably if you're an associate nurse with a diploma, at least just maybe 25, 30, but it's definitely going to go high. And it also depends on the kind of area that you are working on, the kind of floor. So if you are in ICU, emergency, if you are in general
clinic,
ward, so there are a lot of different dynamics. And as you said, all these videos are available here right on this channel. We encourage you to use the link in the description box below. And at this point, we want to talk to you about the cost. How much does this whole process involves? How much from the beginning to the end? How much would you be expecting to spend? So as we mentioned, be expected to spend anywhere between $2,000 to $3,000, based on each of the steps. So
so with the CGFNS, for people who are trying to get into the US with a job, they would use the visa screen option on the CGFNS website. So they have 3 different kinds, but visa screen will be the one that you do to do the transcript evaluation, and that at the moment is costing about $700 to $800 to do that visa screen evaluation. And then based on the state that you are trying to register apply for, you can look to pay between $200 and $300 for the registration to get the license. And then you have to take the NCLEX exam. So the NCLEX exam at this moment, I think, is costing around $400.
Yeah. And one thing to know about the NCLEX exam is that, you know, the whole of Africa, the only place that you can write is South Africa. So you need money for, you know, travel, like tickets, accommodation, and you know, probably joining an online class. So all these, you know, comes together to make that $2,000 to $3,000. I know they write some in India, UK, probably the United Kingdom, Canada, Mexico. So it's just limited countries, but you can check the NCLEX website on the Pearson VUE website, and you know, you can find details on where to write that exam. But for now in Africa, the only place that you can write is in South Africa.
So yeah, putting all this cost together, it's a lot of money to get through the process.
But you don't need all this money at the start. It's one phase at a time. So like you said, you first starting off with the credentialing process. You are starting off, you know, from there you move to the licensing process. That includes the IELTS, the NCLEX, and all of that stuff. And then you know, the final step will be getting a job and being accepted and start earning all the money. So if you are doing it all by yourself, know that it's going to be very stressful, very challenging. But if you are going through a recruitment agency, also know that since they are helping you, once you land that dream job, definitely you have to find a way to pay them back, right? So they are going to negotiate your contract for you. So before you sign any contract with any recruitment agency, we would strongly encourage you to read in between the lines. Don't just be so excited and sign your life away, because you might be excited, but there'll be some clauses here and there that you might overlook. So just make sure that before you sign that contract, you get that job offer, read in between the lines, and never give up on your dreams. As you said, this is not a one-day affair. This is not something that you're just going to start today and by next week everything is in hand, because even getting a visa interview time is a whole lot, you know. It's now with COVID and all that, the processing times are being delayed. So take it one day at a time. Never give up. Keep on preparing for the NCLEX. Keep on preparing for the IELTS. And if it's written that you're going to be here, definitely God is going to make a way for you.
And who knows, maybe throughout this process something great happens and you are getting to travel to the US even before you finish the process.
That gives you an advantage.
That gives you an advantage because you've already started the process. You get in and you just wrap up quickly and then start working as an RN.
So we encourage you to use the comment section below. Let's get interactive. If you have any questions, any concerns, put it in the comment section and we are happy to get back to you.